Hello and welcome to this edition where we shall be delving into the main image processing. But before we do that, I would like us to note some important points which I might forget in the course of this video. So some of those important points are, the first is the files are FITs. FIT means Flexible Image Transport System format. So it is the most used file format in astronomy, and they need to be converted from FIT files to TIFF files. This is because Photoshop cannot read FIT files. So we use FIT Liberator to convert the FIT files to TIFF files, and TIFF files can be used by Photoshop. The images are non-linear. When we get to FIT Liberator, we shall see what I mean by non-linear. The images are grayscale and appear empty. The images are black and white, and not just they are in black and white. When you first see the images, they appear dark everywhere with some few dots here and there. So, but after stretching it, you can extract the pixels inside. But in the first stage, you would you might not see anything, and you might get disappointed. You may or may not want to use FIT Liberator to stretch your images. So the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes I like to stretch my images from the FIT Liberator, sometimes I don't. Even if you don't want to stretch it with the FIT Liberator, you can do the same in Photoshop. But if you stretch it in the FIT Liberator, you don't need to stretch it uh, hard again in your Photoshop. Photoshop has three methods of adding colors to your images: the copy paste, the hue saturation, and the layer methods. And I'm going to demonstrate these three methods in this video. There are various ways to process your images. I want to explain this in details. The way we process a single galaxy and the way we process clusters of stars or clusters of galaxies are not the same. Okay, so there's no particular formula on how to process your images, but I'm going to take you through the basics. Do you understand? So, and also the way we go about it may not be the way other persons might go about it, but by the end we will arrive at the same result. So to begin with, we're going to go to Google to download our image. Let's go to Hubble's archive. We've been there before. And click here, enter site here. Then right here you can type any image of your choice. So, but for the course of this tutorial, I would like us to work on this image called ARP 273. We have seen that before in the last video. Want us to work on it. Images. Then you begin to search. I don't need to tell you to keep searching now. I have an interest, I have an image on my mind I would like to analyze. So let's go straight to that. And I've shown you this before. So you click on your cart, here to input these images. You're working with the fit size. If you look at this image, they are grayscale and at least the data is showing. But when we begin to stretch it, you would notice that it is almost like an empty file. So go here to download your data. It's 411.53 megabytes. Then you can click on fetch data to start downloading. I don't want to do that because I've actually downloaded this before, but you go ahead to download it. So after downloading, it would appear on your downloads folder. This is the image here. I've done that before. So after your download, you can go ahead to extract the files. So open it. This is the file. These are the three files corresponding to blue, green, and red. And I've explained why this is LPX. These are still white field, white band filtered, sorry. So let's open this first. So, and if you notice that this is fit files, and the icon of the fit liberator is showing because the fit liberator is able to open it. So you just double click. So the image will load. Let's expand this. Remember that initially I told you that images are in linear form, and also told you that the data will appear empty. So that is the confirmation. And I also have told you to listen to the guide by Robert Hurt, which I will also attach to the description, to learn how to use some of these things. But I'm going to mention some key factors here. This fit liberator helps to convert your not just to convert your image from fit file to TIFF file, it can also enable you to convert it to the 16-bit image. So it is very important that your image is in 16 bits. And if you look here, you would also see some important um, mark. This one is the red is showing undefined, white is showing, this green is showing white clipping, and the black is showing black clipping. Sorry, the blue is showing black clipping. And what does the clipping mean? Clipping means where at the point where the data is cut off. So we're gonna see the function. So initially the image is in linear form, but you need to convert it to a non-linear form. You can convert it to the power form. You can also convert it to the a sine of h. This is a mathematical function pronounced as arcsine. Arcsine. So let's click there. And once you click it, the histogram will change. So you see that you have more data now. You have more data, and you can even increase it, increase the scale. Assuming I want 100, to increase it 100, you will see that more images would be extracted, more pixels would be extracted. See? More pixels. So these pixels are hidden, and as these pixels are coming out, you begin to see the image here. So what I'm doing now is called stretching, and I told you you may or may not want to stretch with Fit Liberator. So let me just walk you through what I mean by black clipping, and which is the blue part. Assuming that I bring this to this level, you would see that this will turn to blue, showing we have lost the pixels. This is the point where the information is cut off. So it is not a good sign. So if you have this kind of issue, you have to drag it to this level where this pixel begins. Where this pixel begins. Then you can also bring this one in, and if you bring it in, it might start showing white clipping where the object becomes so bright that you start losing the information. You see that? This is called white clipping. Wow. So, but I don't like it. I like to keep this line on this. I like to bring this white level onto this line here. So at least I don't like losing any pixel, although we have some couple of pixels here, and we can forgo those ones, but I don't like losing any pixel. Some people would bring it to this level. There's no problem with that one. I don't like, and I don't advise you to cut off some information, some of the data in the histogram. So, like I told you, you may or may not want to stretch with with it with the Fit Liberator. So I'm not planning to do that in this video, but in the future I might stretch my images here. So let me bring it back to 10. It was initially 10. So I didn't stretch. I just changed the function from linear to from linear mode to a non-linear function. So I'll go ahead to save it because the measure function of this Fit Liberator is just to help convert your files from fit files to TIFF files. So I'll go to save. I'll save it to my downloads. I'll just save it here. And what name should I give it? This is the blue filter. This is the blue file filter, and I normally like to give it the letter B for easier reference. So I would save it. Okay. Then I would like to load other images. I would like to do the same to the other two images. This is the file. We have done. We have we just did this one now. So let's work with this one. Open. Okay. This is for the green part. And again, change it to a sign of H. Then it's okay. Make sure you drag this thing backward. If it's not, it's okay like this way. Then save. So I would like to call this my, bring it back to this. I would like to call this my green, G, green. The other one, last one. This is my blue. This is my red, sorry. And it has black clipping. Let's convert it to inside of fish first before we can move on to. Is it still clipping? Oh, so drag it back into just go and you save it. So I'm gonna call this red R. Oh, R. Then so after saving the last one, you can close this Fit Liberator. Then let us go to, to the download to see our images. These are the images and fits. So it's our in TIFF, TIFF files. Look at them. TIFF files, TIFF files. So the next thing we're going to do is to load these images to Photoshop. To load the images on Photoshop and also taking into account the various methods we want to use to color these images. So you come to this file, come over to scripts, then load files into stacks. Browse. These are the images that we scaled with the Fit Liberator. You highlight the three of them, click OK, then click OK. So you have your files here. the red, the green, and the blue. I usually like the blue to come to the top. The blue should come to the top. The red should go below. I have red, green, blue. I love it to be in that format. So the next thing for us is to start stretching the images. Hello and welcome to this stage where we shall begin to stretch our images. Remember in the first video I told you that the first step in image processing is stretching your images. Let me view it. So the first step is stretching your images, the second is adding colors, and the third is cleanup. So, and what is this stretching all about? The stretching simply brings out the pixels in your images. As you can see, and I've told you before that if you look at your images in the initial time, it seems like there's nothing present except a couple of uh, bright and white pixels here and there. But when we stretch this image, we will extract lots of pixels. And how we do that is we will start by first of all clicking here. We want to start from the first. We want to start from the group. So you come over to image. Make sure you click here and you click on this one. Then you come to image adjustment curves. Then you bring your mouse. I think I have to remove this yellow halo so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Let me remove it. Okay, so you come over to this line. You drag it. You drag it. Okay, drag it gently. You click OK. But before I click OK, the orientation of my curve window might be different from yours. I've discovered that for some people, these dark lines here come to this side. Do you understand? Why the white side go up? So in that case, you have to drag up for these things to become brighter. So for me, I have to drag down. So do the one that works for you. It is still alright. So you click OK. Then you come to image again. Go to adjustment, levels. You make sure you bring your black levels right at the beginning of where the data begins, because as you bring it closer the background becomes darker. Then you come over here, you drag this one. As you drag it, the white balance, the pixels even become clearer. You click OK. Let us do that one more time. You come to image curves, you drag so it becomes brighter. And you have to be very careful, because if you overstretch you introduce noise and artifact, and it is going to spoil your images at the end. And also, if you're under stress, you are not taking advantage of your image. So you have to use your discretion, because this thing requires both, it requires your discretion. It is both art and science. So I think this is okay. Then I will click OK. Then come over to the image again. You adjust the levels. Make sure you bring this right at the point where the data begins. And as you bring it, you can observe that this becomes darker. And also this, the shape of this histogram has increased. It has changed and increased. Then you bring this, bring it and be observing. I think this is okay. So I think we have done this one quite well. So we apply the curves and the level twice. So let us go over to the green, layer, click on image, adjustment, curves. Drag. Oh, and make sure when you are dragging, you don't have that kind of flat line there. It is not allowed. You have to make it to be curvy. Okay, you have to make it to be curvy. Okay, adjustment, levels. This is okay. Then let's bring this all the way. I usually do not like to touch the gray balance. It is maintained at 1 all the time. Okay, applying the curves again. This is the second time. Oh, it comes even brighter. There's a lot of noise right now. But if I apply my levels, I reduce the noise. Levels. You see, we adjust this right here, and we drag this. We're introducing noise. This is okay. So we have done this 2 times. We go over to the red part. Over to the red part. Image, adjustment, curves. Levels. I think this is okay. This is okay. The second time, curves. Okay, then levels. Okay, I think this is okay now. So this is how we do our stretching. So the next thing we're going to do is to colorize our image. And I told you there are three major ways of doing that. There are three ways. We have the layer method, we have the copy paste method, and we have the hue and saturation method. So for the first one, I'm going to show you my favorite, which is the layer colorization method. And I will use these three images to do that. I will use these three images to demonstrate those two. So, and I wouldn't like to do the stretching again because there's a possibility that if I do it again, I may not get the same result. So I would like to save it. I would like to save it, and I would want you to do the same. So I would like to save this, save as, export layers. Let me save it in this. Save it. Let me call it layers. Then change the file format to Photoshop because I would like to use them again. Let me call this, okay, layers. Let me just call this, okay, save. Okay, then I would like to also save these ones individually because I'm going to use them again. Export as, I'm going to use them to demonstrate other ways we can add colors. So this is for the red. Export. This is for the red. Yeah. Okay, it's already there. Save. Export as. This is for the green. Export. Then for the red. For the blue, sorry. So right now I have exported. So in the next video, we shall be colorizing these three images. Hello and welcome to this part where I shall be colorizing my images using the layer colorization method. So right now, before you colorize it, make sure that all of them are highlighted. Then you come to image, come over to mode. You have to first of all send the information that you want to colorize your images, RGB color. So click on it, don't merge. Then you can turn them off. So starting from the red, you double click. Then the layer style window will pop out. We want to colorize this as red, so you uncheck the green and the blue, leaving the red. Say OK. You click on the blue, double click. You uncheck. This is the green. You uncheck the blue and the red. You click OK. The color is gradually coming out. Then you click on the blue, double click. You uncheck the green and the red, leaving the blue. So okay, and now you have your beautiful, nice looking galaxy, merging galaxies. So you can perform some other activities like changing it from the normal mode, oh sorry, from the normal mode to lighting. You can also check the ones that you like here, but I would advise you to use the lighting mode. Lighting, do it for the second part, lighting. Then don't do it for the third part, doesn't really matter. After colorizing your images, you come over here and you right click, click on flatten images and allow it to flatten it as one picture. Then the next thing is to your crop this image to remove this other part before we can go into any other thing. To crop using perspective crop tool, you drag this to this end, crop. Full screen. Like to see the colors very well. So this is how I was able to full screen, fit screen. Okay. So this is how I was able to process the image of these merging galaxies. Before I perform a cleanup of this image here, I would like to demonstrate to you I want to demonstrate to you other ways you can colorize your images. You remember this method I used the layer colorization method. So in the method I want to demonstrate right now, I would like to use the hue and saturation method. And to do that, I would like to go back to those images that we saved. So open file, open, let me use this one, layer 1. You can rename yours. I renamed it behind the scene as layer 1. So you can rename it layer 1 or whatever so that it can appear. Then open. So I have those layers. To colorize your images, you click on image mode like we did before, RGB, don't merge. So to begin with, we go to layers, new adjustment layer, hue saturation. Use previous layers to create clipping mask. Yes, click on it. Okay, then this will come out. This color, hue color bars will come out. Then you scroll down, you will see colorize. Click on it. So we want to start from the first. The first is red. We're starting from red. We can turn others off. Let us start from red color. Red red is 0. Then saturation should be 100. Change it to 100. Then lightness should be -50. You click on green, you turn this one off, click on green, go to layers, new adjustment layer, hue saturation, click this OK, then you colorize. This is green, green is 120, green is 120, saturation is still 100, and this is lightness. And you click on blue, you untick these ones, make sure you bring this here to blue, go to layers, new adjustment layer, then this is blue. First of all, click on colorize, blue is 240, 240, this is 100, and this is -50. And now I think we are done. So you click all of them, click on all of them, then you start from this one, starting from the blue, not the saturation, hue saturation layers. No, start from these original ones. You come over to the normal, click on lighting, click on the other one, change it to lighting, and that's all. So you can come over here, you don't need to change this one. You would say flatten image like we did before. You would click on flatten image, and here you have your beautiful picture. I used the hue and saturation method to do this, and if you compare it to the first one we did, they are the same. There is one more colorization method, and I'm going to demonstrate it now with those layers, those images that we saved previously, remember? So to fetch them, you click on Files, open, you hold your Control key to highlight all of them, the three, then open. Then you have your blue, green, and red. So this is your red layer, this is your green, and this is your blue. So starting from the red, you click on Control A to highlight it, Control C to copy it. Then you come over to File, New. This is your clipboard. Make sure the color mode is in RGB color. Make sure if yours is in gray scale, change it to RGB. We could have changed this to 16, but it won't affect our work. But if you're working, because I've converted this to PNG file initially when I was saving it, but if we are working it from the beginning, I mean through scaling, stretching, and so on and so forth, I could have converted it to 16, but it won't affect our work. So create. So it has created another layer here, come over to channel. All of them are ticked. You untick the green and the blue. Make sure the red is ticked. You paste it by pressing Ctrl V. So you have pasted your red. You come over to green, Ctrl A, Ctrl C, then come over to this one. This is my green. You click on it. You unclick this one. This is my green. You paste Ctrl V. Then you come over here. My blue. Ctrl A, Ctrl C. Come over to here. You click Ctrl V. And after the whole thing, you come over here and you click RGB, and now you have your full color. So we can compare all of them. I can now remove this. Right now I can remove this because I now have my colored image. So this is the one I got through copy and paste method, and this is the one I got through hue and saturation method, and this is the one I got, although I've cropped it, I got it through the layer colorization method. So, and this is my favorite. So you can decide which one works for you. Do you prefer the layer method, sorry, the copy and paste, or do you prefer the hue and saturation? Well, I prefer this. However, in my subsequent videos, I can use any one of my choice to continue to enlighten you on many ways we can do this. So in my next video, I shall continue to process this further. I can crop this and process this further, and also this. Please notice that this copy and paste method seems darker than these other two methods. It seems darker. So the reason I like the hue and saturation is because it gives you control over the colors. You can adjust the colors through the adjustment, and also this one too, but this one just gives you automatically, so you have to choose the one you prefer wisely. Hello and welcome to this edition where we shall be performing a cleanup of our image in order to get the final result. And in cleaning up, it involves so many things. So let us see some of the things that are involved in the cleanup. In cleaning up your final image, it requires balancing your image black threshold point. I'm going to demonstrate what this means. Using selective colors to add or subtract colors. Removing artifacts with a spot healing brush tool. Using filters and plugins, example noise reductions, camera raw filters, etc. So I'm going to be demonstrating some of these things except the last part. I want to keep this guide as basic as possible, and the basic ones require just the first three. To start with, I feel like my image has a blue background. However, it's supposed to have a dark background. To do that, I am going to create a new layer, duplicate layer. In fact, any changes you want to make, you have to always create a new layer. let me leave it. I can change the name, but let me just leave it because I'll still remember it. So this is the new layer here. Let me uncheck this one. So I want to make the background of my image to be as dark as possible. And there are many ways you can do that. You can come over here, come over to the curves, then bring your mouse to any part you feel is the darkest. Any part that you feel is the darkest. Maybe this part. Okay, you hold your control key, then you press. So this is gonna pop out. Then you come over here, you drag gently. As you're dragging, you see the background is getting darker, and also be very careful so that you do not lose some of your bright parts. You drag gently. I think this is okay for me. This is okay. So I have a dark background right now. Then click OK. You also need to balance your black threshold point, but I may not want to do that. Rather, I would want to duplicate this layer, create another layer, go to my layers, go to new adjustment to select colors, then OK. Here I can add or subtract colors of my choice. If I feel like maybe yellow is too much in this picture, I can subtract it out. So however you can try this, you can try these colors. Maybe you feel like there is much red, you can add or subtract it. Going like this is subtraction and going like this is addition. So as I'm moving this, you can notice some changes going on right there. Maybe if I feel like adding these colors will make my, subtracting this color will make my picture to look finer, fine. So subtract, adding them, subtraction. I think I want to like to add this one. Then I can change to yellow. Maybe if I feel like I want to subtract yellow from my picture or add yellow to my picture, you can notice some changes, but I don't feel like I want to add this or subtract this. Maybe bring it back to normal level. So that is how you continue. You can try any of these colors to add or subtract your pictures. Let me check this white. Maybe you want to add more white. Subtract white. Add more. White has no effect on the system, so I'll drop it. Okay. So that is it. I think I have to stop here. Okay, one more thing, you have to check for artifacts and noise. You know, there is more you can do if you want to become a professional image astrophotographer. You want it for commercial purpose. You want to make it as part of your career. You know, there is more. You can go to the filters. You can go to the filters and go to noise reduction. You can go to camera raw filters, but these are just advanced form of this process. And like I said before, I want to keep this as basic as possible. So once you have done this, I think or your picture is good. So you can post this picture in your Instagram. You can go to, you can get pictures from other places and process them to produce beautiful images like this. So I'm going to proceed with other kinds of images. I'm going to be processing other images to show you more and more examples. When you are done, you want to save your work. I think I like this one. I will come over here. I'll say flatten. Okay. Then you come over to File, Save As. Let me save it in my downloads. So you can rename it as ARP 273. Then you change the format. You want to change it to PNG. I prefer PNG. You can also change it to JPEG. I think I prefer PNG. Then save. Allow it to save here. So this is just the basic level of processing your images. Thanks.